Hey everybody, where you at? This is InspireNation, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. How's it going? We're here for another weekly rundown with our best friend Thomas Queter, and we have our friend Jim Dayton in the house. How's it going, Thomas? How's it going
Going
this week?
good. We had a very successful trip downstate. I've never actually been to the city before, and you know, I enjoyed it, but I think I'm done complaining about upstate roads. The nature of the roads down there were just terrible. Jim here can attest to that because I do believe the roads hurt him.
Yes, they were not kind to either of us, but I can't say that I'll never complain about the upstate roads again, but yeah, they were rough.
I'm more likely to complain about how much we pay for them. How about that?
Absolutely.
So Jim here has taken on assistant campaign manager of my campaign. He's pretty good for it too. He's a hell of a research hound. In fact, you want to talk about what you were doing in the last 24 hours, Jim?
I was looking at different links and websites and stuff like that give us more information about different candidates and people that are already sitting in Congress and the House and Senate and whatnot. And there's a few things out there that really like to share you the real information, but people don't know about them.
Specifically, you were looking at Chuck Schumer's voting record on votesmart.com, weren't you?
Yes, I was. There's some pretty interesting things in there. I haven't had a whole lot of time to dig in too much, but I've noticed a few things already. One of the things is the federal ballot access votes that they've had recently.
So let's make sure everybody knows who my opponent is. It's Chuck Schumer. You got the picture of me and Jonathan, Larry in the background, Robert?
Yeah, I do. I've got a couple photos here. Where was this at, Thomas?
On Saturday, we marched in the Queen's St. Patrick's Day parade. I know the date's not perfect, but it was a heck of a parade. There were big crowds. And you can see my friend Jonathan Howe, who's running for Congress against AOC down in District 14. He's pointing at me and telling everyone that I'm running against Chuck Schumer. Every single time he said that, hundreds and even thousands of people just roared with applause and cheering. Apparently, he's not well loved in Queens. And that lady you see, she looks like she's clapping her hands, but she's actually about to put her hands up in a prayer stance and come up to me and hug me and kiss me on the cheek. I did not expect that. That was very well received, and so was Larry. Larry Sharp was also very well received.
I see him there in the background.
It's interesting because who was ahead of us all the ways was Andrew Giuliani. I didn't hear the crowds roaring for Andrew.
We got a couple more pictures here. You got to see. So this is your first time on a boat. So where were you at here? So you went and seen the Statue of Liberty, yeah?
Yep. We did that Friday, right, Jim? Yeah. We drove over to Liberty Park, which is just across the bridge into Jersey, to take the ferry to Ellis Island, and then another ferry to the Statue of Liberty, and then another ferry back. It's actually the same ferry every time. But the interesting thing is, I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been on a boat or a ferry before. And they dropped this walk bridge. It's a pretty steep angle. There's like a 2.5 inch bump on both sides. And they're starting to put down extra ramps to smooth out those bumps and getting ready to push the chair up. And I said, all right, don't worry about it. And I hopped that bump and I went up the ramp and I hopped off. in my crowd-funded wheelchair that's no longer on the market thanks to your government. I think that's pretty cool. I got to have that conversation. Their eyes were wide, their jaws dropped. Jimmy saw it. They did not expect that, and they were all too eager to hear about the wheelchair. So that was pretty
And
cool.
you're talking about your wheelchair now, which was crowdfunded, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
The same one.
Which can full start a F-150.
It will push start an F-150.
Well, I'll be damned.
And also climb a 6-inch curb, which is great because in Queens, the sidewalks have 6-inch bumps. Jimmy, you remember that? It was near where we parked.
Yes. Yep. I think I know where you're talking about. There were a lot of sidewalks. We were all over the place. There were some good curbs.
You got some more pictures here. You got your friend, and this looks nice. There was the St. Patrick's Day parade.
So that's Nate Gable on my left or your right. That's his daughter on the other side. And that's us marching in the parade. I see Jimmy's back there. He's helping hold up the sign. And Rebecca Lau right behind Nate. Eric and Gabby Cordova right behind Nate's daughter. It's Artie Sintaf right behind me. He's chair in Suffolk County. And then, of course, Miss Liberty there. That's Craig Miles. He's one of my favorite people. Him and Nate have actually gone out of their way for my campaigns back to state senate several times. And they really helped out. Craig Miles is quite a character.
That's probably what I'd be wearing too. Right on. So it looks like you guys had fun. I would have enjoyed that.
We rode around Nassau County Thursday during the day with John Gunter. He's a Nassau County chair. And I got a fancy haircut. How about that?
I see that. You look really nice, Thomas. What were you saying about what's coming up? You might be having something coming up with some college kids, adults.
Well, we'll talk about tomorrow night in a minute. I brought up my hair for a reason. Jim, you remember getting our haircut?
Yeah. Yep. That was the first time I ever had a straight razor held to my face. So it was pretty interesting. It was cool.
At least it was in a friendly way, right?
Yes, it was a friendly way. Still the first time, so
So the barber was rather apolitical. I told him, I was a candidate for office, what I was running for, and he said he's out of politics. He hasn't voted in 8 years. None of the two parties get anything right. And I asked him what his issues were, and he said he was against the war on drugs because it wasn't helping people. And someone he cared about recently died of an overdose. You put that all together, and he's got a libertarian stance on drugs. And then, of course, he hates taxes. And he was terrified to see what his return would be after the stimulus. That's going to affect it's going to affect your tax returns. So he's looking into voting this year. We're probably going to vote Libertarian. Took just a 20-minute conversation asking him what his issues were and giving him my own perspective on it, which is a libertarian perspective, helping over harming. Thursday night, we met with the Queens LP, the sports bar. I forget the name, but that was a good time. Had a lot of good conversations. Spent about an hour talking to a former candidate for the Green Party and had him really listening to my ideas. So that was fun.
That was a good night. Definitely. There was a lot of people that showed up for that, as well as the Thursday. No, that was Thursday. The Wednesday night event. There was a whole lot mushed together this weekend, or this last week. It was a good time though, all together.
So tomorrow, I've been invited to come speak at Oneonta State College by the Young Americans for Liberty chapter there. I believe they're trying to get the young Republicans involved. And of course, they're they're handing out flyers and inviting everybody. Larry Sharp spoke there once before. Looks like it's my turn. The president of that chapter is now the social media director for my campaign, and he's good. But it seems like we're picking up people every time we go somewhere, Jim. We also got a videographer team when we were in the city there, because we've got a couple of things coming up.
A great interview for one.
Oh, that's right. We did a great interview that'll be coming out soon as we have eyes on it and can get it loaded to YouTube. It'll be up. It'll be out. We'll be broadcasting it to Facebook. But I met a gentleman there, James Marino. He had talked to me on the phone last summer at some point for a little bit about libertarianism. He was curious. And he called me again the other week. And it just so happened I was going to be down there. So I told him, and he showed up at the Suffolk County Convention where we were. And then he came to the Queens meetup. And through that, we were discussing further plans. We're going to do a cannabis protest. We're going to protest the federal scheduling of cannabis right at the end of Rikers Island Bridge. We're going to protest it for two reasons. All of the people who ever served time or ever had their first infraction for cannabis just led them down the wrong path. It's not the cannabis that leads them down the wrong path. It's the punishment. It's jail time. Prison time sometimes. You want to make a criminal, put somebody in prison, they'll become a criminal. The statistics show this. But we're also going to protest the scheduling for a specific reason. New York recently legalized cannabis for sale in dispensaries and on-site consumption situations. But because it's federally scheduled, they cannot reap the same tax incentives that every other small business of any other type of the same size as theirs does. That's not right. This is New York. Everybody's already taxed to the hill. Everybody's already struggling. We've lost so many small businesses. This is a huge opportunity, and I don't want to see it flop. If we remove the federal scheduling, that'll make it easier. That way these businesses can thrive. That's going to be April 30th at 4:20 p.m. But a week before that, on the 23rd, I'm going to be at a cannabis shop in Oneida, New York, owned by another libertarian, right across the street from the Troopers Barracks. And we're going to be there for the whole day. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is when their business will be open to support us. And I will be there for as long of that duration as I'm able to arrange for it. Knowing me, I'll get there at 9 a.m. And if my driver can handle it, I will be there till 9 p.m. We're also trying to get Larry Sharp to attend that event. I'm sure if it works into his schedule, he will. But that's also a petitioning event. Petitioning begins April 19th. So on the 23rd, we've got a petitioning event. On the 30th, we've got a petitioning event. What are we going to do on the 20th? Jim, we got to find something to do on the 20th.
Well, I think it's going to be something along the lines of petitioning. I think we've got a lot of petitioning to do ahead of us. And that needs to be the focus all the way through for a little while.
You know, I have a hemp store that's friendly to me just in Norwich. Maybe we'll have to call them.
Yep.
Robert, how's Alaska been?
Well, it's not been too bad. It's been warm, still above freezing. There's still a couple feet of snow in the fields. It hasn't been that bad. As you can see, it's still quite light out, and it's going to be getting lighter and lighter on into the summertime. So, what is everybody doing on 420?
Not
That is
sure
what
yet.
is. Nobody knows. I don't know what everybody's doing on 420. I know what I'm going to do on 420, but it doesn't have to include y'all.
So I think this is what it comes down to. We're all in with all of our efforts, all of our money, and all of our blood, sweat, and tears for petitioning this year. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about what happened to our petitioning requirements?
Yeah, we got screwed by a budget in New York State, as a lot of us know, and a lot of Democrats and Republicans don't have a clue about. We went from needing, I believe it was 15,000 signatures to now we're at 45,000 at a minimum. So we need to have about 60 to 65,000 signatures in New York State so that they don't want to try to challenge them. Because if we give them the bare minimum, all they have to do is find a couple and then they'll go through it all. So we have to try to double our numbers. That's not realistic. But so we got shut down in that case, lost ballot access. Otherwise, we would have only had to get the same number of signatures as the Democrats and Republicans. So yeah, we've got a serious uphill battle ahead of us, and we need all the people to sign petitions, to carry petitions for Larry Sharp, Thomas, and other statewide candidates on this petition that will be taken around.
And we got 4 weeks to do it in, folks. 4 weeks. If you want to volunteer, go to thomasqueeter.us. It's scrolling across the bottom there. And sign up. If you want to do just petitioning, put petitioning. If you want to do other roles, put other roles. But we need petitioners now, first and foremost. Tell us where you are, where you can petition, where you can hand out literature, and we will get you set up. Now is not the time to stop or to back down. Just because they made it harder doesn't mean we can't do it. Doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. And in my mind, the fact that they made it harder means we have all the more prerogative to do this and to succeed. We need to show the people of New York that people still care about them, even if the people in Albany don't.
That's right. And it's really not that hard to do petitioning. I've gone door to door many times. The first time was pretty awkward for me, but after that, after the first time out, I didn't mind going out and talking to people and talking politics with people. You'd be surprised how much you have in common with people you wouldn't imagine you did have anything in common with.
Yeah, what I find with petitioning is that most people will sign a petition just because they want an option, or just because they want to be nice, or just because you ask nicely. It's not difficult at all to get someone to sign a petition because it is not a vote, right? People aren't against having an option to vote for someone, even if they wouldn't vote for them. So it's very easy to get people to sign petitions, particularly if you go to, say, the mall or a farmer's market, anywhere where there's a group of people. You can get lots of signatures very easily. There may even be an opportunity to get paid for signatures. So if you want a petition, volunteer. You can go to thomasqueeter.us, sign up, tell me you want a petition, and I will get you linked in with everything we've got going on in this state.
That's pretty awesome. There's also a clickable link in the comment section. You guys can click there, and also in the post on Facebook.
Right on.
And even if you're not in New York, like I keep reminding people, I'm in Alaska, so there's more things you can do. If you're not in New York, you still want to support Thomas here and what's going on with this libertarian gang, you could just go to the website there and show up. That's all you gotta do. That's what Thomas does. He shows up. He rolls in.
Show up. Don't be shy. You can hit the donate button too if you're not right here and able to help.
Yeah, every dollar goes a long way because we're more effective with our funds. Libertarians do more with less. We say that all the time, and we mean it. I took almost 14,000 votes on just $37,000 for my campaign for state senate. Every dollar you give me is going to get used to its best and fullest, and we're going to make progress. This state is important because it's one of those states that holds a lot of electoral votes. It's one of those states that holds more federal power, and those are the battleground states. It's not a red state or a blue state or a purple state. It's the states that hold power. That's where we need the libertarians. That's where we need gold specks on the map. That's where we need to rein in this spending. And that's where we need to change the narrative. Because policies that are bad or good start in states that have that kind of power and spread.
And if you guys don't know what libertarian is, you know, if libertarianism is a new term, definitely hit up Thomas on Facebook or on Clubhouse. We have this LP Liberty Talk Radio I always push on this channel. And just get in touch with us. And, you know, sometimes you'd be amazed. There is a third option, and you're looking at him here in the top right left-hand corner. Thomas Queter is running against Chuck Schumer. Who is this guy?
He's not a nice person.
No, he's.
So, you know, libertarianism boils down to a few things. My rights end where they impede yours, and your rights end where they impede mine. We're about no harm policy. We want to pursue policy that does not cause harm. We're about balancing budgets in a wise manner that doesn't cause harm. We're about giving you all of your rights all of the time for everyone. There's no demographic left out. If you want to see improvement in New York State, we're your only shot. Because the other two parties have been trying and failing over and over again. And I don't know about you, New York, but I am sick of it. But on that note, let's call it a night, guys.
Okay, we can do that. That's no problem. And you guys, every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, check us out. At least me and Thomas are here. And we'll be going on like this until he's in the seat. And
New York.
Yes. Thank you. God bless everyone. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming on.
Yep, you got it. Have a good night.